Okay, I have a serious message, but a treat for you as well. And I think you're going to be tremendously blessed if you watch this entire video, especially the clip that I'm going to show you towards the end when I'm done talking here. There's several minutes. I can't remember how many minutes it is, but just if you stay with that, you're going to be blessed because we talked about this harvest thing. I said I was going to revisit this and where Jesus told the disciples after he was traveled around speaking to everybody and proclaiming the gospel and healing the sick and doing various things that he said the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And I want to read that for you real quick. Let's read that from, I got my Bible right here. It says, Then Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching the synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom and healing every sickness. Everyone was moved with compassion for them because they were weary, scattered, and like sheep having no shepherd. Then he said to the disciples, The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. Now, what we see here, you have on YouTube, you have a lot of self-appointed pastors, self-appointed prophets. They come on and they say their followers will say, oh, they're doing this great work for the Lord. They're praying. And such as we talk about the Brandon Biggs, praying hours on end every night, 2+ hours. People like this. Oh, they're praying. They're doing this great work. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with praying, but it comes a time when you got to get your hands dirty. There comes a time when you can't just sit on the couch. For those that are able-bodied to get out into the field and reach those, because I'm gonna read a commentary from you based on that scripture that I thought was pretty good. That it says this. It says, so Jesus carried out his ministry. So he focused. Well, let me go back. Palestine in the day, in Jesus' day, was under rapid urban development. Its population, around 2.5 to 3 million people, lived in numerous pre-industrial cities and towns revolved around Jerusalem, the hub of the region. It says the holy city had a population conservatively estimated by modern scholars of between 55,000 and 90,000 people. Josephus, the first century Jewish historian, placed the number at 3 million. So as Jesus carried out his ministry, he focused on the urban centers of Palestine. That's on Matthew. That's in Matthew 9, verse 35, 11, verse 1, Luke 4, chapter 4, verse 43, and chapter 13, verse 22. And he visited Jerusalem 3 times. This brought him into contact with a greater number and wider variety of people than he would have encountered in a purely rural campaign. Women, soldiers, religious leaders, the rich, the merchants, tax collectors, Gentiles, prostitutes, beggars, and the poor. Then he attracted in a large crowds. These are who he attracted as large crowds as he's visited each city. You see, this is what I've been talking about. That these people that are up here masquerading as voices, many of them for the Lord, but you never hear a word about the poor or those or the less fortunate within society. They want to somehow come on into, we're going to pray. Wait a minute. There is a lot of hands-on help. Do you understand how many of these volunteer centers need people hands-on, as I've been talking about? Homeless shelters need workers. The crisis centers to answer their phone calls. I work for the crisis, volunteer my time with the 911 crisis text for suicide line and crisis center, whatever it is. It's for all of any types of crisis. They need workers for that. Volunteers. They need workers at pregnancy centers. They need workers at people. I mean, you name it. Just the simple things around the church or within your community. And so these people, how are you going to reach this harvest, when you want to cast them out, you want to demonize them because of their sin, because of their lifestyle, because of their political affiliation. You want to do all of these things and brush them aside. So what kind of harvest are they really trying to reach, many of these people? I mean, we have to tell it like it is, as we do in this channel. Really, who are they trying to reach? When you set up and you have foreigners within the land, and you're basically, get the hell out of here and get back to where you come from. Never, for some of these people, never to hear the gospel, never to come in contact possibly with a true believer in Christ. So these people, they make me really sick because they're doing so much damage within the Christendom. And we can't even call many of these people Christians, because many of them, as we talk about, they just are on a platform because of money. They don't work jobs. They found out that this is a great way to come right in this 2026 era and take advantage of people. It's no different than the people that we've been talking about in the previous message, the Oral Robertses and the Kenneth Copelands and the Benny Hinn's and the Paula Whites, all of these money-hungry charlatans. That's all what it boils down to with a lot of these people. They don't care about somebody truly receiving the gospel, because in their mind, you can't receive the gospel unless you're with a particular political affiliation. That's how in their mind, how they treat people, as far as if you're not that, and then on top of it, if you're not a certain skin color, their gospel is really not for you. It's not for you, because we don't care. Because if they truly care, look how they act. Look how they conduct themselves. Look at how some of the many things that they do. So it's okay to have a righteous anger. It's okay to have that, but these people's anger, if you look at how they conduct themselves, they want people thrown in jail for no particular reason. They want people to just die because they calling death angels on people and wishing the bad or worse. Don't care about people if they ain't able to provide for their families. Don't care about their situation if they're taken away from their family. They don't care. And so look at their heart. Look at these people always want to talk about fruit. Look at the fruit. They are good at bearing false witness. To the highest level, with the lies on top of lies. So they don't care about harvesting. And I'm going to, as we lead right up to this 250 supposedly celebration of America, I got a few videos to show you that there's truly, this celebration is all a sham on a spiritual level, and we'll talk about that. So watch this particular video for those of you that have stayed for this, what I've been speaking so long. Close it out, and I'm going to close it out, and I want you to watch this. This is a lesson in forgiveness. In a lesson in forgiveness, if anybody should have some bitterness within them, is this particular man. This particular man could have bitterness towards particular groups of people and towards society. But he took a different path. And I think that we can learn a lesson, all of us, in something like this. Even though it's hard, we can do that. Evangelism for God is the channel where we talk about issues the church run away from. Enjoy the video as we continue to punch Satan right in between the chops. My name is Maurice Braxton. Enjoy until the next time I'll talk to you. Enjoy the video.
This weekend, people from around the world came together in Mississippi to mark 70 years since the murder of Emmett Till. In late August of 1955, Till and his cousin Reverend Wheeler Parker Jr. took the train from Chicago to Mississippi. What happened next is a dark chapter in American history. A mob of racists lynched and shot the 14-year-old. This past week, the 86-year-old Reverend, who is the only living witness to Till's kidnapping, took the very same train ride to Mississippi, and our Steve Osinsami and team were there with the Reverend as he relived that painful and deeply personal journey.
My My goal in my life journey is to help people see the light about love and not hate. I've been set free from hate. And once you've been set free, you want to experience that. And I can't afford the luxury of hate.
Watch your step.
We're coming.
Reverend Wheeler Parker says that his Bible tells him to forgive. And he says that's what he's doing here.
Thank you.
Taking an overnight train to Mississippi with his wife, trying to make peace
Oh, my goodness.
with the murder of his cousin by a clan of racists.
If you dwell on it, you'll come out of it injured.
Nearly 70 years ago to this day. Do you forgive Mississippi? Do you forgive America for what happened? Do you forgive those people?
If you don't forgive, God ain't forgiving you. Vengeance belongs to God, and you got to believe that.
Is it hard for you to go back to Mississippi ever?
For a long time, I wouldn't go. For over 10 years.
This 86-year-old preacher in the sunset of his life is the only living witness of the kidnapping of Emmett Till in 1955. They were barely teenagers when he and his cousin took a train like this one from their home in Chicago to spend the summer with family in Mississippi. But only one of them would return alive.
Cotton picking time, just starting down south. When you're young, you just want to get there and get going and see your cousin.
Both of you were excited to
Yeah,
go.
yeah, man. It was a venture for us, you know. But see, I'm from the South. I'm acutely aware of the mores of the South. He didn't know that. I knew where I was going. We call it going behind the iron curtain.
He says they warned his cousin that things were different behind that iron curtain in America, that black children who were out after dark could pay with their lives, and that black boys should never even dare speak to white women.
You know you could get killed for reckless eyeball.
For reckless eyeball.
Reckless eyeball. Do you know what it was like in 1955?
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. When we arrived in the Mississippi Delta in the morning rain, he took us to what's left of the grocery store. Where was the entrance when you were
Right in front here.
overgrown with weeds and much smaller than the scene he remembers as a child? This is where the white woman who worked here claimed that his 14-year-old cousin had grabbed her, put his hands around her waist, and then told her he had slept with white women before. It was all over the daily papers with quotes from a young Wheeler Parker calling 21-year-old Carolyn Bryant a pretty lady, interviews he says he never gave. Bryant and her husband Roy owned the store. In 2007, she told a book writer that she lied, and then she died in 2023, never apologizing to the black families. What should I not forget to tell America about what happened here?
It's history. Not here to serve animosity or will of hate. Talk about history. Let the world see. Let the world know how far we've come. America's great. We made a lot of progress. And we should do a better job and be more open about it. It happened. You can't deny that, you know. That's the truth. The truth will make you free.
Reverend Parker, who was there, says the truth is that Emmett Till only whistled at the woman and says the bigger mistake was that he and his cousin and a few other black boys were there without an adult. They knew in seconds their lives were on the line and ran from the store. What happened next would leave a bloody stain on the fabric of American history.
2:30 in the morning, I hear these people talking. So you got two boys here from Chicago. And we want to talk to the one that did the talk. I said, God, I'm getting ready to die. They finna kill us. But when he did that, we could have disappeared. When he whistled at that lady, he violated a big moray. It could have been was shot on the spot. And I said, God, I'm going to die.
So 2:30 in the morning, someone comes to the door?
Yeah, they knocking on the door, and you couldn't see your face, hand in front of your face.
Was it screaming? They were
No, not screaming, just belligerent death talk, what we call death talk. It's like he's not respecting them. So he left with him. That's the last time we saw him alive.
That was the last time you saw him alive. Before the night was over, Carolyn Bryant's husband and half-brother would drag Emmett Till to a barn and then mutilate the child in unspeakable ways before shooting him in the head and then dumping his body in the Tallahatchie River. His mother couldn't even recognize her child and demanded an open casket at his funeral, determined to shock the nation and change the law, which she did.
And as much as my son had to die, I don't want his death to be a vain thing. If it can further the cause of freedom, then I will say that he died a hero.
This is the barn. So many people we talk with around here say that for many years, they couldn't speak to what happened inside of here, and for different reasons. For some, it was about not giving word to the horror that happened here, and for others, it was about living in denial.
Tonight, we gather here in Greenwood, Mississippi, humbled by the weight of history and lifted by the power of remembrance.
On this 70th anniversary of Emmett Till's murder, people from around the world are meeting Reverend Parker in Mississippi.
We recognize that the blood still cries.
Vowing to never forget.
Call his name Emmett Till.
This couple drove from Arkansas to see the barn for themselves.
I want it to be taught. I want history to be taught. We have ugly parts of history, but it needs to be taught.
The owners of the barn are now selling it to a history museum with the help of a major donation from television producer Shonda Rhimes. She explained to our Robin Roberts why this was a must-do.
I don't think I'd ever known where it happened, where a child had been tortured and killed. I couldn't let it go.
They're also trying to preserve the land where the boys slept that night and the old grocery store where the injustice began. And while we were there, they put the gun those men used on display at a local museum. America's laws never held a single person responsible, and there are people here who still fight with the truth. They've had to replace this signpost, for example, spelling out what happened here more than once, because some people keep filling it with bullet holes. It's all a reminder that whatever peace we here in America enjoy today doesn't come easy. And the good Reverend insists that forgiveness has to be part of this story.
People who don't forgive, they suffer. They suffer tremendously.
But this is about people who are lynching people, that a lot of black folks aren't in a reconciliation mood and want a different attitude for different times.
Right. From my perspective, everybody got to come stand before God. Get people to see the light, and that's my job. And Martin Luther King took that attitude, Jesus took that attitude. So that's what we have to do, try to change individuals.